Hey guys and gals, this is Tyler, aka True Tactics 2 again, and I'm here with the first vid of what I want to call the SAS Trilogy. This episode is about the Special Air Service Regiment of the Australian Army. The SASR has appeared a little bit in popular culture, including the game Medal of Honor Warfighter. The unit is modeled on the British Special Air Service, with which it shares their motto, "Who dares wins," but it also draws on the experience from the World War II Australian Special Forces units such as the Z Special Unit, also known as Z-Force. The SASR was established on July 25th, 1957, as the first Special Air Service Company. Then, in 1960, the company became part of the Royal Australian Regiment and became responsible for commando and special operations missions. The SASR was then expanded to 3 Sabre squadrons and gained regimental status on August 20th, 1964, and officially became the Special Air Service Regiment. The SASR first saw combat in 1965 as part of the British Commonwealth Force during the Indonesian confrontation. The SASR operated alongside the British SAS as well as the New Zealand SAS in operations that were aimed at stopping the Indonesians from infiltrating Malaysia. While they were usually deployed in a reconnaissance role, SASR units inflicted at least 20 kills on Indonesian forces over the course of several ambushes and skirmishes on both sides of the border. The SASR then participated in Vietnam, with its involvement beginning when 3rd Squadron was deployed as part of the 1st Australian Task Force in April of 1966. The role of the SASR in Vietnam was to be the eyes and ears of the Australian Task Force, and they did this by carrying out reconnaissance patrols within the task force's area of operations. As they did during the Indonesian confrontation, they worked closely with the New Zealand SAS in Vietnam. SASR squadrons were deployed to Vietnam on 1-year tours of duty until the last squadron was withdrawn in October of 1971. During its time in Vietnam, the regiment was extremely successful in the reconnaissance role and became known as the Phantoms of the Jungle to their enemies. The Australian and New Zealand SAS killed at least 492 and as many as 598 enemy combatants, and they only lost 2 men who were killed in action and experienced 3 fatalities from friendly fire. During Vietnam, the SASR worked with U.S. Navy SEAL teams and U.S. Army Special Forces, and they also provided instructors to the Long Range Reconnaissance Patrol School. Some members also served with the secret MACV SOG units. The Australian withdrawal from Vietnam brought an end to the doctrine of forward defense through involvement in Southeast Asian wars. Instead, the Australian military's new focus was on the defense of continental Australia against external attack. In line with this change, the SASR took the lead in developing the Australian Army's capability to conduct patrol operations in Northern Australia. This role is now filled by the Army's 3 Regional Force surveillance units. After the Sydney Hilton bombing in 1978, the SASR was assigned a counter-terrorist role. In recent years, the SASR has been at the forefront of numerous peacekeeping missions. The first major deployment occurred when a squadron-sized group was assigned as part of the Commonwealth Monitoring Force in Rhodesia in 1980 during the changeover from Rhodesia to Zimbabwe. Small SASR units were assigned to Australian forces in Somalia when they provided elite response and VIP protection. SASR patrol medics were also assigned to the United Nations forces in Rwanda, and some of these medics were in the country when the horrific Kabeho massacre happened. In the 21st century, the SASR has participated in the conflicts in Afghanistan and Iraq. The SASR was also deployed to East Timor. The SASR currently has 4 Sabre squadrons. These squadrons rotate through the SASR's 3 roles. 1 maintains the counterterrorism role, 1 the counterintelligence and special operations role, and the remaining 2 fulfill the surveillance and reconnaissance role. On operations, each squadron is supported by a troop from the 152nd Signal Squadron. Now I'm going to go into the 3 main tasks. In the reconnaissance role, the SASR typically operates in small patrols, which has the task of infiltrating enemy-held territory and providing intelligence on troop movements. In this role, the SASR generally seeks to avoid directly engaging enemy units, though SASR soldiers will call in air and other support to destroy enemy units whenever possible. SASR reconnaissance patrols can be inserted by air, land, or sea, and this includes by submarine, and have been proven capable of covering large distances in jungle and desert terrain. In the counterintelligence and special operations role, the SASR performs clandestine operations independently in concert with Australia's intelligence community or allied intelligence services and special forces. This recently acknowledged capability centers on 4th Squadron SAS based at Swan Island near Queenscliff, a high-security defense facility that has doubled in size over the past decade, in part to accommodate the new squadron. The squadron was formally raised in 2005 by the Howard government, but its new intelligence-focused role was authorized in late 2010 or early 2011 by Defense Minister Stephen Smith. And finally, in the counterterrorism and special recovery roles, the SASR specializes in tasks such as direct action and hostage rescue, including boarding moving ships. In contrast with the SASR's reconnaissance role, when operating the counterterrorism role, SASR units are only tasked with the mission statement to rescue the hostages. The SASR provides Tactical Assault Group West, while the 2nd Commando Regiment provides Tactical Assault Group East. Thanks again for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, feel free to drop a like, comment, and if you haven't already, please subscribe. The next episode in the SAS Trilogy will be on the New Zealand SAS. As always, this has been True Tactics 2, signing off.